very good morning to all watching this video. My name is Arvind Ravindran and today I'm here to talk about my weaknesses and the improvement of my own emotional intelligence level. So the first question is, what is my weakness and what measures have I taken to overcome this particular weakness? And I think my particular weakness would be short-temperedness. Like, I get irritated very easily. People that say, insensitive stuff, that tends to get on my nerves. And for a long time, this was actually a very big problem I had to deal with myself. I went to a lot of competitions, I went to a lot of debates, discussions, model United Nations conferences, and the thing that I learned from being there was that a lot of people have the same mindset. The emotional capacity of a lot of us living in the society is quite low. But there's one particular way we can overcome that, and I learned this actually a very powerful and a very useful lesson from one of the books I read by Dale Carnegie. It's called How to Make Friends and Influence People. It's an excellent book. And there's a particular chapter in that book that says how to deal with people, who get on your nerves, or how to even calm yourself during such confrontations. So the thing is, when someone comes to you with an opposing point, all you have to do is, pretend to accept with what they are going to say. If I say something, let's say I make a statement A and you make a statement B, and I am in disagreement with that statement, if I argue that your statement is wrong, that is only going to make you even more angrier and get back at you. So the thing that I will do is that I will agree with you. I'll say, yes, statement B makes sense, but also I'd like to put forth my opinions as well. In that way, you won't get offended. You will be like, okay, another person from another side is trying to put forth their point, and you'll just leave it at that. And I think I've used that approach with a lot of people I've met, a lot of people that I disagree with personally, but due to circumstances have to, associate with as well. And I think that has worked perfectly for me. It has worked wonders actually, and it has brought down my level of irritatedness. Like, I've been very, very calm with the people I deal with, and it has brought about an extreme sense of diplomacy in me, and that is how I dealt with my emotional weakness. And I think that's a very powerful lesson I learned in my life. The next question on the agenda is, describe a time when a colleague came to you with a problem and how you dealt with that. So this is actually quite funny, okay? And I don't consider myself a problem solver as such. I just try to, put forth my straightforward opinions, and people have, in general, found that to be quite helpful. So there was this particular instance when I came to college, and I was just as clueless about anyone else, okay? Whether it be about studies or the environment or the teachers or the subjects. I was a first year student. Obviously, I was on my nerves, and my friends, they thought, I like to act confident, okay? It brings forth a certain sense of placebo confidence in me that later turns out into actual confidence. So I try to act confident in situations that do actually demand it, and in that demeanor, people mistake me for actually knowing something. And so my classmates, they came to me, they were like, do you know about this? They actually presumed that I knew, and they asked me about certain problems in their life, like what do I do about my future, what do I do about my studies and such. And let me tell you, I'm just as clueless as every one of them. So what I did was, I don't like to accept that I don't know anything. I think that is in defeat to your own self. Even if you don't know something, I think you'll figure it out on the way. Like, it's not really that hard to decode any problem that comes into your life, and that is the approach that I took in this particular problem. So there was this one guy, he came to me, he was like, my language skills are really, really low, and I'd like for you to help me. And I suggested him books. I asked him to watch movies and such, and what he did was, he actually started following up on them. He actually took my advice and he started following up on them. And the thing is, when you're helping someone to improve on something, you have to make sure you're going to be available for them through every step of the way. And that's what I did. I let him know that I would be there to help him if he ever had any doubts, if he ever had any confusions about certain stories or the vocabulary that he was studying. I made sure that not only did I tell him I would be there to clear his doubts, I also made sure that I was there to clear his doubts. And I think that again is another lesson that I learned. You should keep your actions in accordance with your words. You should always follow up on what you say. What you sow is what you reap. And I think that again is a very important lesson I learned in my life through my own actions. The third question on the agenda is, tell me about a time when you disagreed about a feedback someone gave you. This is a very, it's a very funny instance as such, because it happened so long ago. People don't think children actually remember what adults talk to them, but in fact they do. I was studying in 3rd standard, and my friend's father was an English professor at a college, and I used to go to this boy's home very often. And one such day we went, and being the English professor the father was, he told my father that my English skills were not up to par. Imagine for a third standard boy to hear that. And my father obviously was very upset. He believed he was giving me top of the line education. He believed he was giving me the best of opportunities. And hearing someone else say that about your son, it is obviously going to bring out some disgruntled agreement in you. And what he did was he came home and he looked obviously very upset, and I definitely disagreed with him. I thought up to that point my English skills were actually quite good, and when he said that, I realized I needed to reevaluate myself and I had to improve on that particular thing. So when someone, this is the third lesson that I learned. When someone criticizes you, it is important to retrospect into yourself and see what you have done right and what you have done wrong. So what I did was I started reading more books. I started exposing myself to media without the use of subtitles or dubbing or something. I didn't use any aids so that I would get a better grip on the language. I started talking to more people, my seniors. I started going to competitions. I started exposing myself to the English grammar side, not grammar side. I started exposing myself to the English conversation side, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from what happened that day. I believe it is one of the most important milestones in my life, because obviously, like I said earlier, it brought about a sense of self-retrospect in me, and I believe I've been holding up that values up until this day. Funny thing was, 2 years later, I went to the same guy's house, and his father, the one who told me my English was not up to par, he actually asked me to participate in one of the conferences held at his college. I actually went there. I won the first prize actually. In fact, I think I was in 5th or something, and he was very impressed with that. So yes, if you put in the work, you criticize, you take the criticization given by the others, and you make that into something more of yourself, I believe you have appreciation and respect coming your way.